everyone, it's April with Hair 101 and I'm going to do my first Q&A, and I've never done one of these before, so hopefully I know how to do it. Even though I'm just answering questions, I might mess up. So the first question is from Katie. It says, how often do you feel like you are winging it? Well, I'm winging it right now, and I almost always feel like I'm winging it. Even though I've been doing hair for 12 years, I'm new to the whole teaching. And I've only been doing YouTube videos for a year and a half, so I always feel like I'm winging it. Even though I've done the hair stuff a lot, I still feel like I'm winging it now because it's something new. It's like I'm having to talk and explain what's going on in my head while I'm actually doing it. So it's been interesting. I feel like I'm learning things over again because I'm having to explain them out loud instead of just in my comfort zone doing the hair. So kind of always. I do remember when I first started doing hair though, I felt like I was winging it a lot. And she also, the other part of it says, I understand the principles and logistics, but often feel like I'm just making my own rules and freehanding it. Yeah, that's how I felt at first too. And I think that that's good. I think that if you're stepping out of your comfort zone, then you're growing. So yeah, try to remember all the rules. Sometimes you will break them and sometimes it will work, and sometimes you'll realize, oh, that's a rule I can't break. So, okay, if my client has pre-colored golden blonde hair with a level 7 root and she wants to go lighter, like the color of your hair, which this is like bleached, okay, how can I achieve an even color? So a golden blonde and a level 7 root, those are only like 1 or 2 levels apart. So I would even say, let's see, I guess it depends. I'd have to look at the hair. This is a really tough one because if it was a dark golden blonde and a level 7 root, that's the same color because level 7 is like a darker blonde. But if it was a light golden blonde, I would probably, there's several things you can do. You can take bleach, like a 10 volume bleach, and you could do the roots with like a 30 volume bleach and then the 10 volume bleach on the golden ends, and that would achieve, and it will be even because when bleach eats away hair color, it almost always lightens, especially that light, a golden blonde. You're just kind of lightening it a little bit more. So it would be fine, but you would want to make sure that you don't leave even the 10 volume bleach on the light ends for very long. You'd have to really watch it close to make sure that they don't get gummy. You'd have to do elasticity tests. So yeah, that's how you would have to probably lighten it out, because anytime you have color in there that you don't want in there, you need to lighten it out. But I would just use a really, really mild bleach. Maybe like the Firmisi has oil in it. It's a little bit more protecting, so that one would be a good one. And my color has some brown in it, so you would probably be weaving if you wanted to do that. In fact, I would suggest weaving that hair color because in order to get everything even, you would be needing to put it on the roots if it was like all over. And so it could get more difficult, but either way, you could do it all over the head or you could do it with foils. I would probably do it with foils just because you have so many things going on, and it would be easier to kind of keep track of what foils have been on longer and rinse just those if you needed to. For Megan, it says, my husband is growing his hair out and hates using product. What is a good lightweight product he can use in his hair? That's a tough one because you're gonna need something in it so that it's not just fluffy. I like the Redken Rewind. It's not super, super lightweight. It's kind of in the middle. It's a level 6 from their scale, but it's a good lightweight one, I would say. If you put it in when it's wet and kind of just work this through your fingers and put it through all of it, when it dries, it actually is pretty lightweight. It's not really sticky. It doesn't feel like gel. So this would be an okay one. Also, there's one by Redken called Waterworks. And that does make it look a little bit more of like a wet look, but it's lighter. I think it's a level 2. So that one has barely any hold. It's just a little bit more of like a tamer, like it would tame it down tame the fluff down. So yeah, one of those would be good. You could also try, it depends on what look he wants. If he wants it to look really dry and matte, he could use the Big Sexy spray clay. That would give it just more of like a grippy texture, so he could move it around, but it wouldn't really feel like he has gel. He could still run his hands through it if he wanted to. But yeah, the lightest weight one I could think of off the top of my head would be the Redken Waterworks. Tiffany says, I've been doing hair for 16 years. How long have you? I've been doing hair for 12 years if you count hair school. If you don't count hair school, I guess it's been 10. No, more than that, because we've been married for 10 years. I guess I've been doing hair like 13 years if you count hair school, and 11 if you don't. Okay, it says, my niece has recently bleached her hair and then colored it pink. How fun. She regrets it, and wants to go back black. What should I advise her before she really ruins her hair? Many thanks. Well, she can go black. I mean, that's easy, just going back to black. She would probably, if it's pink, then it probably already has some undertones in there. So she might be okay with just throwing like a level 1, like a blue black all over it, and it would probably be okay. The thing is that it's hard because you have to just make sure she understands what she's doing, because she's bleached her hair already. And they think, like a lot of young girls think, as soon as I put the color back on my hair, it's not bleached anymore. Well, the thing is that it is bleached. Until that hair has grown out and you've cut it off, that hair is always bleached. Even if it's black, it is bleached hair that is turned black. So in order to ever change her hair any other color, if she decides to have highlights or brown, anything that's lighter than black, which is pretty much any hair color, she's going to need to lighten her hair. And the only way to lighten the hair once you've put a color of black on it would be to use some type of a color remover or a bleach. So yes, it would be very, very damaging to her hair. But as long as she understands that, she can make the decision to dye it black. Because if she understands that and is sure that she wants it black, and she's pretty sure she's not going to want to do anything for a few years, then she'll probably be fine, and it's not that big of a deal. You'd want to just make sure that you put a filler in with the color. If it's pretty light, like I don't know how light she bleached it out. If it was to a really light blonde, then you would definitely need to use some kind of a red, orange, or orange filler on the hair before you dyed it black, so that it doesn't fade really quickly and so that it doesn't look ashy. But if you're going black, I've noticed with black, it's sometimes so dark that it doesn't tend to go green and muddy. Those are usually like the level, like 4s and 5s and 6s that really go muddy if you put them on top of blonde, because they're missing that orange undertone. So the black sometimes is so deep and deposits so much that it still looks black. It would just have more of like a blue black to it instead of a natural looking black, if that makes sense. But you could always squirt a little bit of a 2 gold red. There's like a 2GR in the Redken that's really pretty. So if you use the 2GR all over her head, then it would go to a natural, more natural looking black with a really pretty undertone. So there's things you can do. What is the best way, from Danny, this is another question. It says, what is the best way to cut girls' hair? I'm useless at it. I have a tutorial that teaches you how to cut girls' hair, like 100 of them. So watch the rest of my videos on my channel. That is the best way to learn how to do that. From Flatiron, at home frizz control. I am so depressed when I frighten my neighbors. Yes. I go for my walk or ride and hear windows and doors slamming and locks clicking. How big is your hair, dude? Flatiron. Is there a girl or a boy? I don't know. Okay, the beeps and burglar alarm. This is not real. The beeps and burglar alarm set. Please help, awesome April. My community will have a big parade in your honor of courage and valor. You're funny. Okay, so frizz control. You better get that under control or you're not gonna have very many friends. You need to start putting, let's see, I really like the After Party by Bedhead. That is a really awesome frizz control. I've had staticky clients because in Utah we have really dry air. So the air, like you'll be brushing their hair around, brushing their hair, and it's like flowing up. The dryer sheet thing, I've never had that work. So don't even try it. Well, go ahead and try it, but it's never worked. So don't stick dryer sheets on your head. But the bedhead after party has been awesome for that. Also, the Silk Therapy by BioSilk takes frizz out pretty well. It tends to have, if you do use too much of it, you can get your hair to look a little bit oily. So I like the after party a little bit more because it's like a creamy lotion for frizz. Moroccan oil also takes care of that a little bit, but using a good moisturizer helps a lot. And if you have really curly hair, you could be washing it too often. So maybe try doing every other day if you're doing every day, or even every third day or something. So those are my suggestions for that. Oops. Oh no, I just deleted someone's question on accident on my phone. I have no idea whose it was. I'm so sorry if you don't see your question getting answered. That's sad. Okay, Cindy says, I need new clippers. What kind should I buy? And can you do a how-to on doing a great blow dry with a round brush? I love your channel. By the way, I learned lots from you. Thank you. New clippers. Well, you know what? That's hard because I think every single brand has an awesome clipper. If you get their professional line, like the nicest one they sell, you're going to have an awesome pair of clippers. But you're going to want to go into the store and hold them all, look at them all, compare prices, and just find the nicest pair that you can afford. Because they can get ridiculous. I mean, same with shears. You can get a decent pair for a couple $100, or you can spend $5,000 and get an amazing pair. And yes, I think that you do get what you pay for with stuff like that, all of your tools. Generally, when you see an increase in price, it's going to be for convenience, for smoother, just everything works more perfectly smoother. The engineering's better usually, and they usually last a little bit longer. So I really do think that you get what you pay for. So I would say whatever brand you decide to go with, definitely splurge and go as high on their line as you possibly can. I use the Andis Master clipper, and honestly, it's lasted me for so long. I probably need a new pair right now because I think it's my second or third clipper that I've ever had, and the first one I dropped, and that's why I bought my second one. And I think I dropped that one too, like 4 or 5. Like I've dropped them a lot when I was first doing hair in barbering school. I dropped them quite often, and I think that that's why I ended up having the 3. And I still have the 2 broken ones laying around, and I've kept them for parts because I've noticed that like one time I dropped them and just like a tooth fell off, but I had my old ones and that was fine on that. So I just traded out the blades, and so then I had a working pair. But yeah, I've kept with that same brand, and that is the brand that we were required to use in barbering school, and I've loved it. So I'm comfortable with it, and I have all the attachments now, and I think that if I were to go buy a new pair today, I would probably lean towards that same. Like obviously it's a nicer model and everything's newer on it, but I'd probably get the same one. I'd probably get the Master. I like that it's all chrome and like it's all metal, and it doesn't have any like plastic parts on it. So it looks really nice. It's sturdy. I like how it fits in my hand. But yeah, things to think about when you're deciding what ones to get. Jessica says, have you met the Shaytards? Nope. I would love to meet the Shaytards though. They are pretty stinking awesome. But I don't know, maybe I should cut the Shaytards' hair. That would be awesome. They're in Idaho now. I know they just moved. Maybe you guys should all go and tell them that I'm awesome and that I could cut their hair, and we could do a video with that. If you want to see me cut the Shaytards' hair, you guys have to tell them that, because they probably won't listen to me because they have like 1 million people contacting them every day. They're busy. They're busy, busy, busy. Okay, so Brandy says, oh, she just says nice things. That's not a question. Thanks, Brandy. Okay, Dawn says, I would really like your opinion of the color line you use and why. I am trying to convince someone who has been using John Amico products for 26 years in the shop that she could at least try another brand. But she likes that and is an exclusive line, okay? I get it, but since I have only been doing hair for 2 years compared to her, I think I know everything, LOL. She is amazing, and I am not impressed with the color line at all. I had a similar experience with that when I first started in the salon. Obviously, I didn't have a color line because I had just gotten out of school, and our color line in our school was like awesome because there wasn't just one. They let us, I think there was like 10, and we could choose from them. When we would go back there, we could just try. We used Schwarzkopf and Redken and Color Sync and Shades EQ. There were like L'Oreal. I mean, there were several different brands that we had access to. And they were all pretty good. I liked them. And here's the thing, they were very similar too. Like the 5RV in all the lines were pretty similar. However, when I got into the salon, everyone there used the So Color by Matrix. And so, of course, I bought the So Color for Matrix because they had a good point. They were like, if you get that line, then we'll all have the same color line. So if we like run out of a color, we can just borrow color or buy color from each other. And so, and then like there was a rep in there saying, I'll give you a deal, whatever. So I went with the Matrix, and I think I was used to using more Redken in the school because I did not love it. I noticed with how I would formulate before, I noticed that there was a lot of really ashy browns. Like, I don't know. And I noticed a lot of people in the chairs next to me had the same problem, but they didn't really say anything ever about it. But I just didn't love the color line. So I switched over and had a Redken rep come in and just like, they bought out all my other color and they traded it straight across and gave me the new line. And so that was awesome. And if you are thinking of switching, there usually is a deal with I can't talk. There usually is a rep or something that would come in and trade out your color line because they want you to start using their color line. And so they'll be willing to take the hit and just like take all your color and throw it away and give you the new kit so that they can get your business in the future. So I don't know, maybe that would make it a little bit more, easier for her to transition, knowing that it's not going to cost her a ton of money and she's not going to have to waste all of the color line that she already has. But if she honestly loves it and it's working for her, I don't know why it matters that she switches. So that's kind of, I don't know if I would really try to push her into a different color line. I don't know, unless she was really having a hard time with it, but it doesn't hurt to try something new. You can't really control other people. You can suggest things to them, but ultimately, if she doesn't want to try it, she's not going to. And yeah. Brandy says, yes, please, especially on color and toners start from basics and there are lots of different methods to achieve the color. I did a toning video, so watch that, and that kind of starts from the basics. So here's the link to the toning video. So that answers your question there. Okay, Chrissy says, what religion are you? Do you homeschool your oldest? Okay, there's lots of questions. Okay, first of all, what religion are you? I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Do you homeschool your oldest, and what are the pros and cons to homeschooling? Yes, the last 3 months of last year, we homeschooled our oldest child. Pros and cons. You know what? There's a lot of pros. I really enjoyed having him home with me. He's really helpful. He was so much fun to have at home. Cons were he would get done with his work. This is a pro and a con. He would get done with his work at like 11:30. And then he was like all pumped, like, yeah, I'm done with school. I want to go play with my friends. But all of his friends were at school. So he was kind of just like, oh, it was kind of a bummer for him. But it was nice because he would get done with school a lot faster. And I mean, he was having a hard time sometimes at school, but it was usually during the time, like lunchtime and recess, when it wasn't like, so yeah, it's kind of hard with that. Cons also, like, he's not getting that social, as much social stuff as he would need. And that's where he was struggling. So it's kind of difficult because he needs that. So I don't know, we might try going back to public school next year if he wants to, but he was not loving his school anymore. There was a lot of issues going on with kids, him not being nice to kids and kids not being nice to him. And it's just, it got to the point where he was like, I don't want to go back. So I could homeschool him, and I didn't want to send him back, honestly, with what was going on. So he decided, and we decided, and we all felt really good about it, to bring him home. And it was actually really, really great. So I would like to homeschool him next year too, but since we're moving and it's going to be a new school, I think he really wants to try to go back. But we'll see, because I'm not going to pressure him one way or the other. I'm going to really talk to him and make sure that we make the decision again this year, because I want to make sure that it's the right decision again. I felt like it was the right decision for the rest of last year, but I usually kind of take things as they come. So I don't know. Photography tips would be great too. Oh, if you want photography tips, maybe you're gonna have to check out my April's life channel, and I will talk about that more there, because I'm trying to leave this channel just to hair, but I do talk about photography on that channel a little bit, and I'm going to start talking about it more. So check that out. I'm building a home salon also, and want to see your salon. I would love to see your plan on the salon. So yes, we are moving and we are building a new salon because we're building a house and the basement will be unfinished. And so the first thing we're gonna do when we move in is start to work on the salon in the basement. And I don't really have plans for it yet, because like I said, I kind of fly by the seat of my pants, and I haven't really thought about that yet because it's not right in front of me. So I'm going to procrastinate that question a little bit longer, but yes, I will totally show you guys everything with the salon. I will be vlogging as much as I can, and you will get to see all of that, and I will ask your opinion for things, because I'm sure I'm going to have lots of questions for you guys too. Melissa says, when do you use Firmisi Color Remover Cream over Blonde Dimensions? Good question. So I usually use Blonde Dimensions if it's like a retouch and I'm only doing like the roots, or something that I know is not going to need like super crazy strong bleach to get out. I still like both of them. It's just that's my powder bleach, and it's a little bit cheaper. So I'll use that when I can, but I use the Firmisi Color Cream when it's removing artificial color for sure now, because I've noticed with the removing of the artificial color, the Blonde Dimensions works really good too. Like, one of them's not way better, but I have noticed that the Firmisi lifts out more of the undertone, the unwanted undertone, than the Blonde Dimensions. So I think it works a little bit quicker. And I did my toning video. I showed you the kind of a side-by-side of the two. So, I mean, really, I could use one or the other all the time and it would be the same. It'd be fine. But and also when I'm doing a balayage technique, when you're just painting on the color freehand, I always, always, always use the Firmisi Color Cream because it's non-swelling. So that is always something that if it's going to be anything where I'm worried about swelling, I will use that over my bleach. So there's that one. And then she asked me another one. She said, also when touching up highlights, how do you avoid bands? Keeping your foils close to the scalp, holding the hair tight to keep the hair tight, and then to get the foil in tight and hold everything really clean, because the bands happen. Oh, I know what bands you're talking about, like in between the transition. So you're going to make sure that you're not getting bands on the bleeder lines by making it tight. And then also when you're going to the line of demarcation, you're going to the line and not past it, but make sure you're not going away from the line. Feather it down a teeny bit if you're worried about it. So I definitely make sure I go all the way to the line with the solid bleach. I'm not stopping before the line and hoping that it will swell. I'm definitely going all the way down. And it's better to go a teeny sliver over than it is to not go enough, because then you get that stripe. So there you go. Make sure you're doing it all the way to the line of demarcation and keeping your foils tight. What are your prices on cuts and colors? I haven't raised my prices for a long time. I think it's time to do it, but I don't really want to, because I really try to keep my prices affordable. I do $30 for a women's cut and $65 and up for colors. And I kind of, every single one is different. It depends on if I'm doing just the mohawk or the full head, or just like if I'm doing the underside dark. However many colors I use, I add $5 or $10, sometimes $15, depending on how much I'm using. I really just, in the consultation when I'm sitting there with them, I kind of add it up in my head. I kind of start at my base price of $65, and then I say, okay, so your hair is super long and thick, so I'm adding another $20, and then your hair is, we're doing 2 colors, so that's like another $15 because you have a ton of hair. And then like, I don't really have to tell them that, I'm just adding it up in my head, and then the cut. So like add all that together, and then you can give them a price. And sometimes I give a little price break on the cut if I'm doing the cut and the color, because I'm not having to like style their hair 2 times. So sometimes I'll only add like 15 or 20 on for the cut instead of the 30. So yeah, it's really different. It's just kind of whatever. And then I write down what I charge them, because the next time they come, they're probably going to expect it to be about the same. So you need to keep track of that kind of stuff, and you need to be pretty consistent. Also, if they were getting like an all over brand new weave from virgin hair, of course it would cost a lot more than if they were coming in and just getting the retouch, just because I'm probably using $10 to $20 less of color, and it takes a lot less time because you're not painting the whole entire strand of hair. So you just have to figure out your prices and be consistent. I am going to break this up in a few different things, because I don't think that anyone's going to sit here and watch me for 4 hours while I answer all these questions. You guys are awesome. So many people commented. Thank you. If you want to watch the next video, stay tuned, or click somewhere, or just wait a couple of days because it'll be up later. Okay. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you later. Bye.